everyday morning show that puts you in the right frame of mind to accomplish greatness. Join Chike and Esther every weekday on 106.9 FM. Good morning, Coal City!
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Coal City right here on 106.9 FM Godfrey Okoye University Radio. And of course, it's a very beautiful bright Monday today, 22nd day of June 2026. My name is Chike, and certainly I'm not alone in the studio. I am always with my pretty lady with the golden voice, with the golden brain, with the bright face, with the pretty look, the facial.
Oh my god, I'm blushing.
I need to see her shoe is shining.
Thank you, Chike.
Good morning, Esther. How are you doing this beautiful Monday morning?
I'm doing alright. I'm doing really nice. I mean, we just coming back from the weekend, and I had a very beautiful weekend.
Yeah, you had a fabulous weekend. I had a fabulous weekend, but I had a good weekend. I had a very good weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I ate well, I drank well, I slept well.
And then you worked so hard.
Yeah. Every day we work hard now.
Every day we
just
keep
grinding.
grinding.
We keep grinding.
Okay.
All right. So I'm excited to be in the studio this morning with Esther.
Same here.
And of course, we're excited to have you with us this morning, wherever you are listening from. Remember, we are actually live at the moment on YouTube at GOU Radio 106.9 FM, as well as on Facebook and Instagram at 106.9 Going Radio. And we want you to go up there, like the video, share as much as you can, and of course, drop a comment. And today is a very beautiful day. In fact, this week is going to be a very, very activity packed to it, because on Wednesday, we will be launching the first of its kind, the Center for DNA Forensics and Criminal Investigation, CeDFoCI, over there at our main campus, Ugwamoneke, and there you wouldn't want to miss that, because of course we're going to be live streaming it, and you are going to be seeing the first of its kind in Southern Nigeria, a science city that you've never seen before.
I'm telling you, I'm excited because I don't think it's just in the south. I think it's one of a kind, also in Nigeria. So this is going to be creating a shift in when we come to criminal investigation and DNA testing and all that. So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping to see how everything will turn out. I'm going to be there live and direct anyways.
Yeah, of course. So we're gonna have Esther live direct there, doing washing us out to the best, of course. All right, this is Good Morning Coal City, and as we do it, Esther is gonna tell us how we're supposed to feel this beautiful Monday morning. Of course, I'm itching to hear Esther tell me how I'm gonna feel today, because every single day she tells me how I'm gonna feel, and I feel so great in internalizing what she says. And then now we look through what the weather has for us today in our comprehensive weather report, and afterwards we go on a short musical break, and when we come back we look through our top stories, and then by 8 o'clock we'll be having in the studio Victor Abaa, who is the lab manager for CeDFoCI. And just like I told you earlier on, we're beginning the conversation series about CeDFoCI. You need to know what's coming into Enugu. You need to know what Enugu is birthing, and then you need to get yourself ready, because of course we are trying to change the narrative, and this is a paradigm shift from what you used to know.
Yeah, that is right. That's on period.
And well, of course, Esther is ready to tell us how it's supposed to feel today. I'm so excited to hear Esther this morning, and I bet you just need to relax and pay attention to what Esther has to say this morning. Esther!
All right, good morning, Co-City, and happy Monday, the 22nd of June, 2026. Welcome to a brand new week. I mean, it is a fresh start. It is a fresh opportunity. It's a fresh start, opportunity to become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little closer to the life we're working for. And this morning, I want to begin with a simple reminder that you shouldn't let yesterday's disappointment decide today's attitude, okay? The weekend is over. Last week's mistakes are behind you, okay? The opportunities you missed, yeah, that has passed, okay? We have passed through that. And now today precious or choice. I mean, we could choose to complain or create. We could choose to focus on problems or just focus or chase the solutions. We can choose to remain where we are or decide to grow into who we are capable of becoming. So what will you choose this week? Will you let fear make your decisions? Will you let doubt talk you out of your potential? Or will you decide that regardless of the challenges around you, you're going to keep moving forward? Now, let's be honest, right? For many Nigerians, these are not easy times. I mean, families are stretched. They are so stretched this period. Many people are worried about their future. Many are working hard and wondering when their breakthrough will come. Yeah, this is our reality. But this morning, I want to remind you that difficult times do not cancel great possibilities. I mean, some of the most strongest people we know are people who built themselves during their difficult seasons. Some of the greatest success stories began in challenging circumstances. And while you may not be able to control everything happening with you, I think you can choose how you're going to respond to them. You can choose to learn. You can choose to improve. You can choose to stay disciplined. You can choose to keep believing. And sometimes that's exactly where transformation begins, okay? This week, please don't wait for motivation. Build habits, okay? Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start exactly where you are. Don't wait for someone else to believe in you. Believe in yourself enough to take that next step, because the future you're hoping for will require action from the person you are today. And as you move through this month, remember that you can do anything you set your mind to do, but only if you're willing to keep showing up when it is easier to quit. So rise this morning with purpose. Give your work your best. Give your dreams your biggest effort. And trust that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. From my heart to yours, and from both of us here, we're wishing you a productive week, a focused mind, a hopeful heart, and the courage to keep becoming everything you're capable of becoming. Good morning, Co-City. Don't just start the week, set the tone for it.
Yay! Don't just start the week, set the tone for it. Thank you so much, Esther, for that beautiful piece.
Oh, it's my pleasure every morning.
Of course, it's going to be a very wonderful week. And if you didn't have a wonderful week last week, just remember that you're going to have a wonderful week this week, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. Good morning, Co-City once again. And of course, that was Esther on the morning motivation. Up next will be the comprehensive weather report by Esther.
Okay. As usual, we'll be starting with Lagos. Lagos begins the day under cloudy skies with light rain and cool, humid conditions. Temperatures start around 23 degrees Celsius, and by afternoon, isolated thunderstorms and moderate showers are expected as moisture from the Atlantic strengthens across the coastline. Temperatures will peak at 28 degrees Celsius, and by evening, rainfall activity is likely to continue into the evening with cloudy skies and humid conditions persisting overnight. Moving on to Ibadan. Ibadan is mostly cloudy this morning, and they're having a calm atmosphere and temperatures around 23 degrees Celsius. By afternoon, significant thunderstorms are expected to develop later in the day, bringing heavy rainfall and occasional gusty winds. By evening, thunderstorm activity will likely continue into the night before gradually weakening. And moving on to Port Harcourt. This morning, Port Harcourt is seeing cloudy skies and persistent humidity greeting residents, and temperatures there starts around 23 degrees. By afternoon, rainfall intensifies into widespread thunderstorms across Rivers State, reducing visibility and creating localized flooding risks. By evening, thunderstorms and moderate rainfall are expected to persist through much of the evening. Now in the federal capital, this morning the federal capital is having early morning cloud patches and cool temperatures around 22 degrees, which will give the capital a relatively comfortable start. By afternoon, thunderstorms and periods of rain are expected to develop across the FCT, keeping temperatures near a modest 27 degrees. In the evening, light to moderate thunderstorms may continue into the evening before gradually easing. And now in Kano starts the day partly sunny and warm, with temperatures already climbing quickly after sunrise. By afternoon, clouds will gradually build across the region, but conditions will remain largely dry. Temperatures will reach a hot 34 degrees Celsius. In the evening, there is a slight chance of isolated thunderstorms later in the evening, though many areas may remain dry. And finally, here at home in Enugu wakes up to heavily cloudy skies and high humidity, with temperatures beginning around 22 degrees Celsius. By afternoon, the moisture-laden atmosphere will support scattered thunderstorms and moderate rainfall as temperatures climb to 28 degrees. By evening, rainfall is expected to continue into the evening, accompanied by cooler temperatures and overcast skies. And that is a comprehensive weather report for today.
All right, thank you so much, Esther, for that. And that was that was the comprehensive weather report, and of course, as comprehensive as comprehensive. There's something I want to say, but I won't say it. I won't say it.
Just keep it in your head.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is the Good Morning City right here on 106.9 FM Going Radio. Remember, you can join us live at the moment on YouTube at GOU Radio 106.9 FM, as well as on Facebook at 106.9 Going Radio. We're gonna go on a short break this moment, and then when we come back, we look through our top stories, and of course 8 o'clock we'll be welcoming our special guest this morning as we talk about the Center for DNA Forensics and Criminal Investigation being bettered in Enugu on Wednesday. Alright, enjoy this one from Flavor Osiso. Remember, it's Monday, and then you just don't need to waste time.
You don't have to waste time.
We'll be right back.
I no get time to check time. No time. Delay is dangerous. If you dey owe me, pay me now. Now. Because time na money. Yeah. Time no dey wait for no one. Do well before they say farewell. Perfect time. You better join the moving train. Because time na money. Yeah. Time no dey wait for no one. Do well before them say farewell. Osiso, yekakulaki. Eme ngwangwa, eme arodachi. Bilia kula. I no get time to check time. No time. Delay is dangerous. If you dey owe me, pay me now. Now. Because time na money. Yeah. Time no dey wait for no one. Do well before them say farewell. To make a living every day, I'm always on the move. like another man, I'm always on my lane. I don't go chinting, always to go, you know go. You know they stand for one place, see, they look masquerade, yo. Woman was this son, woman was this son, woman was this son, woman was this son. We know the waste time, no time. Nah, nah. I'll say something. Yeah, I'm not the one name. I'll say something. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not the one name.
Rise and shine, Coal City! Yeah! Get your mind right, let's go! This is Good Morning, Coal City! Your everyday morning show that puts you in the right frame of mind to accomplish greatness. Join Chike and Esther every weekday on 106.9 FM. Good morning, Coal City!
All right, welcome back. This is still Good Morning Coal City right here on 106.9 FM, Godfrey Okoye University Radio, and of course the place to be and the radio to listen to. And remember, you can join us live at the moment on YouTube at GOU Radio 106.9 FM, as well as on Facebook at 106.9 Go in the Radio. Right about now, it's time for us to look through our top stories for today, and Esther is ready with the first.
Yes, for the first story this morning, we see Oriwell abduction. Hope rises for abductees as security operatives intensify rescue efforts. The story has it that hope is rising for the safe release of 39 abducted school children and 7 teachers from Ahoro, Isinle, Yawota and Alabusa communities in Oriwe local government area of Oyo State as security operatives rev up efforts to rescue the victims. This is coming as former head of state General Abdul Salami Abubakar urged Nigerians to unite behind the nation's security agencies in the fight against terrorism. Multiple security sources disclose that troops and other security personnel involved in the rescue operation have effectively surrounded the hideout within the National Park Forest area where the abducted pupils and teachers are believed to be held. The victims were kidnapped on May 15, 2026 when armed terrorists attacked Baptist Nursery and Primary School in Yavota and 2 other schools in Isinle, abducting pupils and teachers. According to security sources, the terrorists have been effectively contained within the forest, with security operatives blocking possible escape routes and restricting their movements with the hostages. Faced with mounting pressure and the likelihood of capture, the terrorists have reportedly resorted to desperate tactics, including the recent gruesome killing of one of the abducted teachers, apparently in an attempt to blackmail authorities and halt the ongoing rescue operation. The terrorists initially presented 4 major demands, including the release of detained terrorist commanders, payment of ransom, provision of 2 Hilux vehicles, and the implementation of Sharia-related laws. Chike, what do you think about this?
Of course, we welcome every effort every effort intensified to rescue these kids and teachers as well. So it's just been a month plus right now, and then we just hope that the effort will pay off, and then we wouldn't lose precious lives again. All right, moving forward. This morning on our stories, we have this one: flood, windstorm destroy shops, farmlands in Eboyi communities. Story has it that floods and windstorms have caused widespread destruction of shops and farmlands in some parts of Ebonyi State and destroyed property worth millions of naira. The disaster occurred following a downpour last Saturday, accompanied by a windstorm. Communities affected by the downpour and windstorm included Afikpo and Akpoha in Afikpo local government area of the state and Abakaliki metropolis. The downpour, which lasted for more than 3 hours last Saturday, triggered severe flooding that submerged farmlands along the Abakaliki-Afikpo expressway, while the accompanying windstorm blew off the roofs of several shops and damaged many properties. The victims lamented that the flood destroyed crops including yam, cassava, maize, rice, melon, and other produce. leaving many of them devastated after investing heavily in the current planting season. One of them, Adam Plato, said the area had experienced persistent rainfall in the last week, culminating in Saturday's disaster.
This is quite sad. You see, flooding, or should I say, windstorms like this one, and flood is is a natural disaster, yeah. But you see, one thing about flooding and windstorms, of course, they can be controlled, right?
They can.
Proper urban planning, right, and good drainage system. So I think that we need to actually work on that. You know, we took a headline once in the past. You said the government said that they're ready to curb flooding. Took something like that. I would like to see the allocated, because they actually allocated amount of money to actually fight flooding and all that. So I just hope that for the affected communities that something will be done and that they will be able to bounce back as soon as possible.
That's a prayer we all hold.
Yeah. Moving forward, JAMB ends 100 level, 200 level admissions into colleges of education, makes NCE sole admission route. The story has it that the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has announced that the Nigeria Certificate in Education will become the sole admission route into colleges of education nationwide from the 2026-2027 academic session, ending admissions into 100 and 200 levels. The decision forms part of a comprehensive admission reform unveiled by the board in new guidelines issued by the Office of the Registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede. JAMB said the new measures are designed to enhance transparency in admissions, eliminate irregular admission practices, and improve the quality of teacher education in Nigeria. Under the new policy, no candidate will be admitted into 100 level or 200 levels in any college of education from the 2026-2027 academic session, effectively ending the direct entry pathway that previously existed in some institutions. JAMB also announced the termination of admissions into affiliated degree programs run by colleges of education, saying all prospective students seeking admission into the NCE into the institutions must do so through the NCE program. You know, this is quite interesting for me.
Yeah, because I was about asking you, because this time around, after you read this story, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about it?
What do you think about You see, this is I'm really happy that the government have finally done something about making NCE certificates relevant in education, because we just see random individuals who just enter, and then from 100 level. In fact, I'm just happy because this will improve teacher training in institutions, and I think that it will solidify the teaching profession in many ways. So if you go through as a teacher, as a student teacher, if you go through NCE pathway, you get to take a lot of courses. I'm going through that currently. I'm almost ending my program, and you get to take so many courses, and these courses will expose you to a wide range. It's not like degree where you take maybe 10, 11, 13 courses. We take 19, 18 courses. So you get to have an all-round understanding of education, right? And I think it's very important for prospective teachers in Nigeria. I mean, it's necessary for nation development, because our teachers will be raising our future leaders. So it is very important that we make the whole process perfect, just organized for it.
So in essence, you're saying that NCE is a much more grounded background.
Perfect, yeah, that's the word. It is a perfect foundation if you want to become a teacher. Yeah.
All right. There's a good one by the federal government. Okay, moving forward this morning, we have this one. NDLEA nabs 2 in Abia for selling hard drugs to students. All right, the story has it that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested 2 elderly men, 84 and 75, for allegedly supplying illicit drugs to teenage secondary school students in Umuahia, Abia State. Also, the agency reported a string of major seizures and arrests across 6 states in its weekly operations bulletin released yesterday. Godwin Obulubinya Obiora, 75, was arrested on Friday, June 19, after operatives received intelligence that he was selling drugs to students from his patent medicine store in Club Road, Umuahia. A search of the premises yielded 4.64 kilograms of opiates, including tramadol and diazepam. In a separate case, 84-year-old Godfrey Oji, a pensioner, was apprehended by security operatives at St. Silas Secondary School, Old Umuahia, after he was caught supplying drugs to 2 teenage students. The school handed him to police, who transferred him to NDLEA custody on Thursday, June 18. One of the affected students, a 15-year-old in SS2, told investigators that he received drugs from Oji, which he used and also resold to classmates. Both men are to face prosecution, while the students have been placed in counseling and rehabilitation. In Lagos operation, the NDLEA operatives intercepted a 9.5 kilogram consignment of ADB chimnaka, a synthetic cannabinoid classified as a dangerous new psychoactive substance at a Lagos courier firm. Days earlier, on Tuesday, June 16, officers at a separate Lagos logistics company recovered 300 grams of loud, a potent cannabis strain concealed in ladies' handbags and destined for Dubai. In a related raid on Friday, June 19, operatives stormed the Aja home of wanted dealer Lukman Badmos, also known as Lukman Ogombo, recovering 9 bottles of codeine syrup and 30 grams of skunk.
Goodness, this is appalling, because I know drug abuse. We've taken this issue of drug abuse a lot lately, but the fact that this was at secondary school children, the fact that these men targeted secondary school children, it's crazy. Drug abuse affects their mental health, their academic performance. It affects for every area of their life, because you see them, they'll be more prone to violence and other related stuff. And this is really bad, because from one person, one thing about this teenage age is a lot of peer influence. So if one person gets gets onto this kind of drug, he introduces it to his friend, and then the cycle continues.
And what's even more appalling is the fact that these are just small children, small boys, 15 years.
15 years. I'm really glad that he's being found, and I believe that actually many people who are doing into this. That's how greedy people are. As long as this just give them fast money or fast change, they don't even care the kind of effects. Because this is actually going to affect our future work system. Because these are our youths, they're growing up to become youths who are actually supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow. So I'm really glad that they've been nabbed, and I hope they'll keep finding and cracking down on drug abuse in every part of the country.
Certainly.
Moving forward, mob storms Kaduna police station, burns woman alive over child theft. The story has that a shocking case of jungle justice has rocked Kaduna State after an angry mob allegedly overpowered police officers, dragged a woman from custody, killed her, and set her body ablaze over unverified allegations of child theft. The tragic incident occurred at the weekend in Maraban, Jos, on the outskirts of Kaduna, sparking outrage and renewed concerns over mob violence and the breakdown of law and order. According to the Kaduna State Police Command, the divisional police officer of Maraban, Jos, received a distress call at about 10 a.m. reporting that a woman was being attacked by residents who accused her of stealing a child. Police officers swiftly responded, rescued the woman, and took her into protective custody pending investigation. However, the situation took a deadly turn when hundreds of angry residents reportedly descended on the police station, overwhelmed officers on duty, forcibly removed the woman from custody, brutally killed her, and set her remains ablaze. The police said there was no evidence to support the allegations against the victim, who was identified as a resident of Maraban, Jos, describing the incident as barbaric and criminal. The Kaduna State Police Command condemned the attack, stressing that no individual or group has the right to take the law into their own hands.
It's quite unfortunate that we are still battling with mob justice in this part of the world, and then it's really unfortunate because look at this story. It's unverified. You just basically made accusation. No investigation has been held, even if she was caught in the act. Mob action is not the way.
It's not the way, obviously. This is just anger taking control over evidence. And then there's something I just read. I don't know if you noticed that. They said they overpowered the police. I don't understand that. How? I know that they could come in their hundreds and their numbers, but I believe that if the members of the force should have enough facility, enough hands to kind of hold off the mob, and it's quite disappointing that
it's actually mob. The mob can actually overpower anybody. They can overwhelm any institution. It's just mob. So the point is, it's just for us to keep emphasizing the fact, keep emphasizing on the fact that mob action is not really the way to go.
It's not the way to go.
By the time we prosecute one or two people, yes, then, even if let's say she's a criminal, and then you took the mob action, and you should be arrested and prosecuted for contravening the provisions of the law.
I mean, yeah.
And unfortunately, there are in many, not I wouldn't say most because I don't have the accurate data, but in many mob cases, you see that the innocent ends up being the one being mobbed, being killed. It's quite unfortunate, and I just hope that we get to the point where we understand that this is not the way to go. All right, moving forward this morning on our stories. Oyo school. Okay, the story has it that Oyo school kidnap. Troops block escape routes as terrorists reduce demands. All right, the story has it that there are strong indications that the 39 abducted school children and 7 teachers from Ahoro, Esenle, Yawota, and Alausa communities in Orure local government area state of Oyo State may regain their freedom anytime soon as security operatives intensify rescue efforts. I think we've read this story.
So taking something similar to this, but this one, I think why I added it was because of the fact that they said that the terrorists are reducing the demands, and I think that it seems like the members of our force, they're kind of getting leverage over them when it feels like they're succumbing to pressure little by little. I'll be just here hoping that their rescue efforts will yield positive results, and then these kids will return home safely.
All right, and that's actually the prayer, of course. There's the prayer. So we're moving over to the next story.
Yeah, the next one is on insecurity. Declare emergency. This is coming from Akafi to Tinubu. The story has it that former Kaduna State Governor and ex-national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Ahmed Makafi, has urged President Bola Tinubu to declare a national emergency on insecurity, saying Nigeria's worsening security situation requires urgent and coordinated action across all levels of government. Speaking with journalists at his Kaduna residence on Sunday, McAfee said the country's democratic gains since 1999 were being overshadowed by rising insecurity and economic hardship. This is the longest period of uninterrupted democratic rule we have had in the country. In itself, that is an achievement. However, what democracy has delivered to the people is also a matter of concern, he said. McAfee urged that security should become the government's overriding priority, noting that improvements in safety would naturally stimulate economic and social progress. The reality is that on the ground, the security challenges are becoming wider. So for me, rather than criticizing, it is rather to advise. The president, working together with state governments, should declare a national emergency on security. Governance should change so that the number 1, 2, and 3 priorities are security in all facets, he said. He warned that Nigeria's security crisis had reached a level that could no longer be treated as routine governance. And I concur with him. I support everything he says completely.
Of course, who wouldn't support everything he says? Because the thing is, security has become a very, 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 very big issue in the country at the moment. So we are all, just like we always say, we are all victims waiting to happen. And of course, is the biggest challenge that this present administration is facing. It seems like the services, like it seems like they are even giving lip services to tackling it. Like there should be massive declaration of state of emergency on insecurity. Jeez, it's crazy. Actually, it's crazy. It's very crazy because at the end of the day, you see people, and then the funny thing is that right now it's even nobody's exempted. The high and mighty are also being affected by the whole thing. So it's just for everybody to intensify, the advocacy. Keep speaking up. We need to keep speaking up and keep saying enough is enough, and then government has to do what it needs to do to nip this to the bud. Because how can we just be living at the mercy of these criminals? We see reports where we get them attending meetings of negotiation, meetings of see them conversing, and then see them. You see non-state actors and the people who are supposed to have monopoly of violence, which is the state, negotiating with these guys. It just doesn't make sense, actually. All right, moving forward on our stories this morning. Southeast leaders exploring political solution for Nnamdi Kanu's release. That's coming from Omahe. All right, the story has it that the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, has said leaders of the Southeast are exploring political solutions that could help secure the release of detained IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu while also sustaining peace in the region. Umahi also declared that Ebonyi State is not aligned with the obedient movement, insisting that the state of the Southeast remain supportive of President Bola Tinubu. The minister spoke during an inspection of Section 2 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project in Ebe, Lagos State. He maintained that no politician could attain the presidency through deception, stressing that truth, accountability, and a verifiable record of service are the hallmarks of credible leadership. Commenting on reports circulating on social media that former Anambra State Governor Mr. Victor Abaa had pledged to halt some of President Tinubu's legacy infrastructure projects if elected president, Umahi said such a position would be regrettable. Okay, according to Umahi, when my brother Peter B said, as I saw on social media, that he would stop the legacy projects, that was a very painful statement. I hope he did not say so, but I know Nigerians will reject that position. He said. The minister said leaders of the Southeast had continued to work towards peace and stability in the region while seeking political solutions to issues affecting it. Okay, still according to him, quoting him, the governors of the Southeast are doing everything possible, and we are supporting them in ensuring a peaceful Southeast while also exploring political ways of helping our brother Nnamdi Kanu, Umahi stated. Well, it's a political station now, so all the whole political back and forth, of course. And then I just hope that at the end of the day, Nnamdi Kanu is released, because actually, we all know that his trial was practically politically induced, and of course, they all have their reasons. But at the end of the day, what we need is peace. What we need is things that will engender unity, justice, essentially, and then harmony amongst every sphere of the country.
Okay, moving forward to our next story. It says, first round of US-Iran talks end with encouraging progress, mediators say. The story has it that the first round of negotiations between the US and Iran to reach a final deal to end the war has ended. Began on Sunday in Switzerland after last week's initial agreement between the US and Iran. Technical talks will continue throughout the week. In a joint statement, a roadmap towards reaching a final deal within 60 days. Iran's Foreign Minister Cite Abbas Araghchi said the talks delivered.
And then, of course, we want peace in the Middle East, and then we want countries who are threatened by activities of other countries to be reassured of their security and the rest of them. Because at the end of the day, when your security is not assured, when your existence is threatened, you certainly have to fight and have to fight her. All right, the last story this morning before we dive straight into our conversation this morning, we have this one in the world of sports. Cape Verde hold Uruguay to 2-2 draw to remain unbeaten in World Cup. Story has it that Cape Verde fought back to end a 2-2 draw with Uruguay in World Cup Group H on Sunday as the African archipelago maintained their stunning unbeaten start at the global showpiece. The debutants took the lead in Miami against the two-time former winners when Kevin Pina rifled in their first ever World Cup goal before Uruguay hit back on the stroke of halftime to lead through Maximiliano Araujo and Agustin Canobio. But Cape Verdean Helio Varela netted just after the hour to ensure the spoils were shared on the tightly contested pool. And of course, congratulations to Cape Verde. This is their first World Cup ever. They're doing incredibly well.
Well, we're watching to see how they'll be performing throughout the World Cup, and we're watching the World Cup so far. It's been quite interesting. There's a lot of surprises.
Do you watch the World Cup this time?
I watch highlights. Don't fight me. I watch highlights. All right, guys, and this is where we'll be ending it with our top 10 stories this morning. And now it's time to dive into. Yes, we told you earlier on that.
All right. Well, we are going to go on a short break, and then when we come back, we'll dive right into our conversation this morning. Stay tuned. We'll be right back shortly. All right, welcome back. This is the Good Morning Call City right here on 106.9 FM, Godfrey Okoye University Radio. And of course, we have in the studio this morning someone quite very special to us, and who is also special to what we are going to be experiencing this week. Actually, we have Mr. Victor Abaa, who is the lab manager for the Center for DNA Forensics and Criminal Investigation, CeDFoCI, Godfrey Okoye University. And of course, today we are going to start the conversation series on CeDFoCI. And of course, on Wednesday, 24th of June, we'll be witnessing the official commissioning of this game changer. And then we have Mr. Victor, who is going to help us make going to help us dissect what CeDFoCI is all about, and help the people of Enugu understand the greatness that has just birthed in the state. Sir Vic, you are welcome. I always like calling him Sir Vic. You're welcome, sir, to the studio.
Thank you.
All right, I'm just going to dive right in. You're very welcome, Sir Victor. I told you it's always a pleasure having you right here in the studio.
Yes, you have.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, we'll just dive right in because of time. All right, please, can you walk us through the very idea and vision behind CeDFoCI?
Mm-hmm. Okay. A lot of what we do currently and the vision and what CeDFoCI is all about was bettered as a result of the pandemic. When the pandemic broke out, we saw a lot of gaps, a lot of needs, a lot of things came up, and just like everyone who experienced it, the lockdown in Nigeria particularly, we had a difficulty of testing capacity. While we have it, it isn't sufficient to cover every citizen in the country.
That's true.
And oftentimes you have samples traveling long distances between states to get to a place where that can be held. And so the conversation began with DNLC Nigeria, Godfrey Okoye University, and the Enugu State government to see how can we meet that gap for Enugu State. How can Enugu State not necessarily need to rely on sending samples out of the state, of which a turnaround time to get your results will take longer, and God forbid something terrible happens. So in order to meet that need, in order to help that, the conversation started. And so the vision to have a center of excellence for DNA, anything related to DNA testing, anything related to molecular biology began. And you can see 3 years from that has become a realization for Enugu State. The partners have invested, they've been committed, they stay true to the conversation, and now we have a center that has the capacity to meet those particular needs that began the conversation.
Right, and there you have it, guys. So the center was birthed when you guys recognize a need in society and try to, bring about solutions, right? And that's very beautiful to see now. Moving forward, now let's see how Enugu and Nigeria in extension can benefit from the new dawn, because for listeners out there, they might not really understand what the whole forensic, it's all big grammar, so how can we all understand, or how can we see the benefit of this particular center?
Okay, so our vision basically is to be a center of excellence for molecular testing, genomic testing, public health testing, and forensic testing, as well as paternity related testing. So we benefit from this in a number of ways. For example, if you want to travel out of the country, we have an international airport here. And if you want to travel out, for example, and you need any travel document, travel testing to prove these are kids, these are members of your family, you most times would have to send a sample to either Lagos or Abuja. Look at the distance. And that takes a toll, that increases the cost, that increases logistics, that increases even the risk of results failing, and all kinds of challenges coming up. One of the benefits is for people in the southeast, in Enugu State, you don't have to go that far anymore. You can have all of that done. We have even pickup options where right from your home, you can get your samples can be picked up right from your home, tested, and you get the results down straight directly into your email. Now, that's one aspect. Then we can talk about public health, for example. When we talk about genomic testing for disease surveillance and all the rest, we have that option now in Enugu State to support the already existing structure which sometimes may not be sufficient enough. People who are into research do not have the labs that could help them conduct that, because we are an integrated facility. We integrate training and research. So we're not just doing this on that front. So you have medical professionals, you have public health professionals, you have people who are trying to do research, have access to facilities that helps them to do research and generate, innovate solutions to diseases and all of that. Then you come to the fact of ancestry. Let's talk about things like accidents, fires, and all the rest. If you lose a member in mass accidents, you can have identification. You can do ancestry tracing to know if you're related to somebody or not. You can do all of that at that center. Then we talk about molecular testing on a big scale as well. Then forensics, let's not forget about that, because we've established a HID workflow lab, a human identification workflow lab, which allows us to identify from paternity testing all the way to anything you think we need to identify individuals.
Wow, that's really neat. You know, when you said something about forensics, honestly, in Nigeria, we've not really experienced, from what I've seen, forensics is not something that we've actually based over the years. And I remember that
and felt that there was a need to address that. Now, for example, if there's an outbreak in our local communities, now before someone at the higher level or far up where they have the facilities or the capabilities to address such issues, there might be a spread. But this visionary step allows us to domicile within Enugu State and have easy access to our local communities, to provide solutions, to provide trainings for healthcare workers, to provide safety protocols for people in the field, to provide address breakout of diseases, samples, how to transport them, how to move them, how to ensure that solutions are at our doorstep quicker than it would have been in the past. That is a huge difference. Then we do know very well that the Enugu State government, again through His Excellency, he made mention when he took office about addressing security challenges within the state as one of the major steps forwards to growing the state's economic and financial status. And addressing that, of course, you know that he developed a command center that is located in State House. Now, when you look at all these things, giving access or empowering us to be able to form a forensics unit that could support in any way possible to the state to achieve that particular goal of making the state safe, and avenues to ensure that happens. So these are huge, big game changers for people.
This is beautiful, and I think it is a welcome development. I'm just going to ask one more question. You've already taken it before, but for the sake of our listeners, they might have, some of the words here are quite foreign, and it's not really your everyday words. So what are the services this center, what would they be offering to the general public, so to these people here?
Okay, so like I said, our facility is an integrated facility. That means we're not just offering only services in terms of testing capacity. That's there. We have multiple labs that are even still coming in, upcoming new departments that are still springing up. We have even down to, like, for example, we have our media development wing, which is bringing up the SciComm training that's coming up later on this year. And thanks to Mr. Chike Esther for heading that for us. And we are seeing how can people communicate science. So, for example, we train people in science as well. We have people from the University of Port Harcourt who are carrying out research with us. We have people who are constantly reaching out to us from different states, trying to see how they can carry out different kinds of research. So research in forensics, research in public health, research in the medical field as well. People are reaching out. So we offer those kind of services. We offer training services to train people. So we're open to partnership with security agencies to train them in forensics as well. How do you protect a crime scene? How do you collect samples from a crime scene? How do you track, based on biological information? And if possible, even extend to the fact of helping to develop more labs across the country, because we're not trying to monopolize it. We're trying to see how Nigeria as a whole can step forward into the future of using science and technology, AI included, to solving her problems, because the world is leaving us behind. We're playing catch up. And so all the services, including the testing services from DNA paternity testing, ancestry search, inquiry, testing for travel, and then all other wings are being all encompassed in the capacity that we are trying to give to the public.
This is beautiful. I think this is a good one. It is a welcome development here in Enugu and in Nigeria.
Yes, of course, it's not possible if not with the help of the three major partners we have. And DNLC Nigeria, which has been in existence for quite a while, training students across the southeast and other parts of Nigeria. Godfrey Okoye University, which gives us the platform to express all of this, allow us to domicile within the university, partnering day and night with support, giving us manpower, giving us even students to help us to train and to really show what we are made of. And then, of course, the Enugu State government through His Excellency Victor. So the three leaders, Professor George Ude, the director of the facility, Professor Christian Anyeke, the Vice Chancellor of Godfrey Okoye, and His Excellency Dr. Victor Abaa have come together to ensure that this dream is now a reality.
All right, before we wrap it up this morning, I want to ask you this last question on Mr. Victor. And what are we going to be expecting on the 24th?
Oh, on the 24th is going to be massive. We have representative from all pillars of all these wings I've talked about. The governor is hosting and welcoming and invited all and sundry to be present. I am expecting people from the office of or even the IG himself, that is to beef up the part of forensics. We have expectations from all walks of field, people who are pioneering education, people who are pioneering health, people who are pioneering public health, the leaders of all those sectors. And it's going to be massive. We're going to have people from all the universities who have been invited across the southeast to be present, who also want to be partakers of this innovative venture.
All right, of course, on the 24th of June, we are going to officially open and commission the Center for DNA Forensics and Criminal Investigations, CeDFoCI, right up there at Godfrey Okoye University main campus, Oguamoneke. And of course, we invite